Welcome to Dental Business RX. Practice success in 30 minutes or less.
Thank you for calling ABC Dental.
We've done a number of episodes on the office manager, what qualities they should have and what their general responsibilities should be, as well as just the overall importance of the position, as well as clarifying what we consider to be an office manager, because that title and the responsibilities attendant to it vary based upon the office you go to. In some cases, the office manager runs the front desk. In others, they pay the bills. At MGE, our viewpoint is the office manager is sort of like your CEO or COO, the person really running operations of your business, especially if you're an owner doctor who spends the majority of their time in patient care. You're not running the business while you're doing that. So the importance of the office manager can't be overstated. But that said, what should their day look like? What's the average day of an office manager supposed to look like? Because the interesting problem with this position is it covers so many areas, it's easy to get stuck in on one while others tend to fall by the wayside. So to that end, we actually created an office manager daily checklist to ensure that nothing gets missed in the day-to-day duties of an office manager. And the person who created this checklist, the main driver behind it, is Sabri Blumberg, the Deputy Chief Operating Officer here at MGE, who, if you've been listening to the podcast for any length of time, you've heard Sabri talk before. She's in charge of all of our technical delivery here at MGE and probably knows more about practice management than I would say a lot of us combined anyway, but not to get too crazy with it. But she's really good. So I brought her on this week as a guest, and she was the primary driver behind this checklist. And I wanted her to go over this so you could get an idea of, if you have an office manager or if you're looking for one, what should this person be doing on a day-to-day basis, and how can you track what they're doing, and what advice she could give to ensure that they're more successful and that your practice is more successful. So I have Sabri all plugged in over there.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, good. Yeah. Obviously, I know you're plugged in. I've joked about this before. So let's get into this. Let's just jump into this checklist, which, by the way, this office manager daily duties and checklist article, it's a 5 or 6 page article with a checklist attached. I have it as a free download on the episode webpage if you want to download it and check it out and use it in your practice. But I wanted to start off with, we were talking about checklists earlier.
Yeah.
So we have checklists for the receptionist or the schedule coordinator, which, obviously as an office grows, you would separate out those functions, right? Sure. Because most people, when I say receptionist, think of the schedule coordinator.
Yeah.
But and we have a financial coordinator checklist. We have checklists for a lot of different jobs. But normally when you do these checklists, you do it for a newer employee.
Yeah.
To make sure that they don't forget stuff.
Yeah, like a training tool.
Right. So now I would assume we're not going to hire somebody off the street and go, hi, you're the office manager, here's your daily checklist. In most cases, the office manager already has an idea of what they're supposed to be doing. So what was it that, especially for this position, that made you go, okay, I need to make a checklist for this?
Yeah.
So why was that?
Because when I would get with clients and their managers, or when other consultants here would get with the clients and their managers and they had a bad month, invariably we found that one of the basic things that should be happening simply wasn't happening. Or that things we were, like, let's say we're having trouble getting somebody's stats to revert, like their statistics to go up into the range that we think they should be in. Invariably, it was one of the basics that should be happening, and they're not always management basics. Sometimes they're management basics, but very often it had to do just with the systems of dentistry weren't being done. There's like this irreducible minimum set of actions that we expect to be done every day in order for a dental practice to expand, management and systems of dentistry actions. So, but the office manager is usually such a busy position, and because they're also the person that everybody goes to when something is going wrong. They're usually pulled into a million different directions. Sometimes they're still doing a job. Sometimes they're still scheduling or doing insurances or whatever.
Treatment coordinator.
Right, or treatment coordinator. So it's very easy in that busy role that they have to forget about things that should be happening, or to assume that things are happening and then find out later when everything went wrong that somebody decided that they were going to stop doing that.
So you're saying, let's say it's a list of 20 things. I
Yeah.
don't know how many points are on this checklist here. It's probably more than 20.
Yeah.
But a list of 20 things that are sort of the irreducible minimum. This has to be done on a day-to-day basis, every
Exactly.
day or every week or however often.
Exactly.
And because it's such a busy job, they might get 18 of them done. But those 2 that they didn't do could end up coming back to smash the practice in the face 2 weeks later.
And it always boils down to something that, like when stats go down or won't go up, it always boils down to one of these points not happening. It always boils down to it.
And I know you're going to cover those, but give me an example of a point. Like, what would be one point that maybe the folks listening think with this, don't think with this, but like a particular simple thing?
Well, just this week, I'm talking to somebody, and for whatever reason, they decided to stop the marketing, right, the postcards. They were always doing postcards, and they just decided to stop. I don't know why they decided to stop them. Maybe they were like, and I've seen this before. It's usually for not a great reason. Like we feel like we've been running the same postcard for a while now, and we want to change the design, so we're going to stop this one. And while we redesign it, and now suddenly there's no marketing going on.
I mean, while those postcards were at least doing something.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Exactly. So, and then people just lose track. Like it just goes on an action list that they need to get to, and they're just not getting to it.
I see.
So, yeah, so that's why the checklist.
So then you guys make so the checklist, it's a little bit different in a sense of if I've got a new receptionist, I'm going to give them their daily checklist, and it has blanks for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yes.
They're supposed to check off each of the things they do.
Yes.
Did I straighten up reception? Did I, flip the phone over from the answering service? Did I turn on the lights in the bathroom? Right?
Sure.
Okay, whereas this checklist is more of what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, some of the actions are highly generalized.
But it's
and
like a
require
reminder
some-
list almost.
Exactly.
Got
And
it.
some of them require thinking. Like I do expect the manager to be trained to be a manager.
Okay.
Right? So, but even if they're not trained to be a manager, if they just follow this checklist, they'll do pretty good.
All right, so at least paying attention to the areas they should
Exactly.
pay attention to. Okay, so with that in mind, and we'll just pull this thing up, how would there, like if you take a look at the daily things that they should be doing,
Yes.
how would you describe what you would expect an office manager to do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, do you want me to just run through the checklist?
I mean, you don't have to read it word for word.
No,
but
no,
I
I'm not
mean, obviously,
going
I'm
to.
bringing you on because you wrote the checklist, so you
Yeah.
can kind of explain it, right? But yeah.
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 Well, it starts in the morning,
Okay.
right, with a proper morning meeting, right? Now, again, morning meetings can be anything from huddles to clinical meetings, right? And I'm not even laying out the format for a morning meeting. But in the morning meeting, there's a couple of things that need to happen. The first thing is everybody needs to be prepared for the morning meeting so that it's fast and it doesn't turn into a drag, right? And part of that preparation could be like the messages need to be checked to make sure the schedule's still the same.
Right.
Before we have a morning meeting, so that we have an accurate, that the planning that we do is based upon an accurate schedule. The hygienist and the assistant should have gone through at least a chart and a chart notes of the patients that are coming in, so they have an idea of what they're coming in for and anything else we need to know about this patient.
So you want this all done before your morning meeting?
Right, just proper preparation, because part of the reason why people don't like these morning meetings is they take too long, right? And they do take too long. If everybody just shows up prepared, this meeting can be done in 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
It shouldn't be a long meeting.
Which, by the way, we do have a format for the morning production meeting.
Yes.
I'll put a link to that on the episode webpage as well, beneath the link for this checklist if you guys want to check it out. And just as an aside, not that, but I tend to do this on the podcast where I veer off into something.
Yeah, it's fine.
We've had, and I don't know if you want to give us some feedback, you can. We've had a number of clients ask us for this, but we've because when did we originally write that article for the morning production meeting? I think it was 1999.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. Anyway, when we were 11 years old.
Precisely.
No, and we've edited it over the years. And then we've gone into offices that have read this thing and are using it allegedly. And I've never gone in cold and seen this meeting done correctly.
It's interesting you say that, because it's an observation I made a few years ago that no matter which office I go into when I observe their morning meeting, which is the first thing that I do, because it starts with a proper morning meeting so everybody's coordinated.
Well, I think also people don't understand, like, why are we doing a meeting?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
as I said, there's different reasons why people
Well, I
have
mean,
meetings.
the reason I would have a meeting
Yeah.
is to get everybody coordinated and on the same page so we have a unified form of action for the day.
Well, that's precisely
We all
it.
know what each other are doing. Like, okay, at 11 o'clock, we're all doing this, and you're doing that, and we're doing this. Well, I know that this guy's doing this, and this guy's doing that, so we're all coordinated throughout the day, and we achieve whatever goals we set out to achieve, right?
Correct. It's seamless. Everything's figured out. The numbers are figured out. The
Right.
patient care is figured out.
Yeah, we've confronted it before it becomes a problem for the
Correct,
day.
and everybody knows where they're supposed to be when. I usually liken it to choreographing a dance.
Yeah.
Right? Like when that lady comes flying, we better have somebody figured out who's going to catch that
Being
lady.
that I'm not a big dance guy,
Yes.
I don't want to compare it to that.
Okay,
That's
fine. Compare it to something else.
Something
I don't
else.
care.
I'll compare it to something else in my
Okay.
mind.
Totally
Because when that
fine.
lady comes flying, she's going to go thud.
Pretty
Apparently,
much.
if it's up to me. But okay, so yeah, so we've both seen this where we go in and. You know, if I can kind of give a tip or two where we both can.
Yes.
The one thing I would say, if you're having a morning meeting, it's not there for everybody to catch up on the weekend or to have a donut or whatever. It's to coordinate.
Yeah,
so,
or to wake up or to have breakfast. I see all kinds of strange things happening in these meetings.
Right, and it's specifically to coordinate the day. Number one. Number two. What I've seen is where you'll have the office manager, and the only one talking in the meeting is the office manager.
Right.
So it's almost like school.
Right.
In which case, okay, that's not what a morning meeting should look like either.
No.
You made an excellent observation because normally a morning meeting would start off with stats.
Yes.
Right? Okay, where are we at for the week, right?
Yes.
Okay, so production's at this, collections at this, new patients at this, but whatever stats you're keeping, right?
Yeah.
And people will give their statistics
Mm-hmm.
as if they're doing a favor for the office manager.
Yeah, like as if they're tracking the stats. There's zero concept that they are responsible
Right, like that's
for that
actually their
statistic.
stat.
Yes.
So I'm the schedule coordinator, and my assigned statistic is production.
Yes.
So you asked me for production.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be at 15,000 today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it's Tuesday morning, and our goal for the week is $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to be at 15, and I report that we're at 10.
Yes.
Like we're at 10.
Yes.
As if I'm giving you the weather report.
Right.
As opposed to, wow, we're only at 10, and here's what I want to do to make up the shortfall so that we meet our goal for the week.
Right. And I mean, not to fear too much off the beat.
It's worth mentioning because we've had, if you're listening and you're familiar with our online platform, DDS Success, actually, I'm asking them if they're listening. Hopefully they're listening.
Yes.
Anyway, if you're familiar with DDS Success, it's our online platform, and probably the most requested video that we haven't filmed yet is the morning production meeting.
Yes. And we really
And
should film it.
We're going to film it. It's just because we filmed everything else. But that's the one. People just don't understand how this thing's supposed to look.
Right, and also what the staff's role is in
Right.
it. Right, but that again goes down to, when you're hiring somebody, making sure that the person understands why you're hiring them. Like, what is their deliverable?
Right.
Right, like what are they supposed to produce for you? It's not their time or their friendliness that you're paying for.
Right.
You're buying a certain quantity of product from them, whether
Right.
that's new patients, and they need to know what you're buying and what the quantity is that you're buying that in, so that they have a sense of responsibility.
And then it can also become more skilled at making said
Yes,
deliverable. Yeah?
absolutely.
All right, so I veered you off there for a sec.
Yes,
so you're
you
saying,
totally
so
did.
first thing in the morning, they have the morning meeting. Before the morning meeting, you were mentioning schedules updated. The assistants, the hygienists have gone through their charts already, so they walk in prepared.
Right, the office manager knows
Right.
where the stats are at.
What would you expect, just since we're going down this line?
Yeah.
So I'm the schedule coordinator. What would you expect me to walk in with? So here are the schedule changes. Here are the openings.
Yes.
Here's where we're lined up for the day. Like we're lined up to produce 5,800, let's say, but we're supposed to do 8,000, so I have to find another 2,200. Here are my ideas.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And I also it's very normal when you walk in that suddenly you have a hygiene cancellation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the scheduling coordinator should have gone through the production patients we have coming in that day to see if there's somebody we can slide in there.
Right. I've already started working on how to fix that opening.
Right, because it's their job, so they're coming with a solution. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like the morning production meeting is for coordination. It's not a solution tank for other people to figure out how to do your job.
Right. And what about so again, not to get too, well, this is important.
Yeah.
So I'm the treatment coordinator.
Yeah.
What do you expect? Like, what would be prepared if I walk into the meeting? What would I have to have in order to be considered prepared?
Well, at the very minimum, I'm going to want to know. I mean, a treatment coordinator should have. The treatment coordinator is a salesperson.
Sure.
Right. It's just a pretty way of saying it. So salespeople have income quotas, right? So salespeople make the money for a business.
So my quota today, I'm supposed to make $10,000.
Correct. So I would expect you to have figured out how you're going to do that today, and if you need any help today in order to do that. In other words, I'm following up with this patient. She might have some more clinical
Right.
questions. She really connected with this assistant. I plan on calling him at this time, or I'm scheduled calling him at this time. Does she have a few minutes to join me? Or whatever.
Right. You bring up an interesting point there, just from my executive hat.
Yeah.
I prefer if someone comes to a meeting and they're newer, let's say, and they don't
Yeah.
really understand everything yet.
Yeah.
But they walk in and they're at least trying to solve the problem.
Yes,
The solution may be stupid.
absolutely.
Right. And I mean that in an affectionate way. I don't mean like stupid, but the solution's not going to work.
Yeah, it's an unworkable solution
Correct.
because they're not familiar with
Right.
everything or the way that we do it. It's
Right.
fine.
But they're trying.
Yes.
As opposed to somebody walks in, we're supposed to do 10,000 and they walk in, we're at 6.
Yeah.
Let's say they only have 6 figured out.
Yeah.
And they come in and go, yeah, we're at 6. I've got 6 figured out. We're supposed to do 10. And that's just all they say. Versus somebody, if someone says that, versus someone who says, well, we're at 6,000. I think I can do this, this, and this.
Yes.
None of those things are going to work.
No.
But at least they're attempting to solve the problem.
Yes.
I much prefer that
Yeah.
to somebody who does nothing.
Absolutely.
Because they're at least trying.
And if that's the case, then the office manager also has a heads up right then and there that he or she better get with that treatment coordinator afterwards to figure it out if it isn't just naturally figured out in the morning meeting.
Right, because the OM could be able to look and go, okay, well, that's not going to work. You know what? Here's what we should do.
Yeah.
Patient Mr. Jones at 11 o'clock is coming in. Now, Mr. Jones was supposed to do his other 2 crowns this year. We haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, so here's what we do. The doc's going to go over there. You go over there with the doc. Okay, good. Boom, boom, boom. Like, start figuring it out.
Right.
Helping the treatment coordinator along, and eventually the treatment coordinator's with it.
Correct. And learns, and then she doesn't, or he doesn't have to do that anymore.
Okay, I just wanted you to flesh that out just 'cause as far as when people hear lineup and production meeting and this and that and whatever, so you're expecting, we're starting our meeting at 7:45.
Yeah.
Because patients start at 8:15, let's
Yeah.
say, or whenever, 8:30.
Yeah.
So we're all walking in and everybody's prepared.
Yeah.
So then you're the office manager, you're chairing the meeting.
Yeah.
You start this thing off, you get the stats, and then you go through the full daily lineup,
Yes.
right? And then what are you looking for from that point?
So, okay, so she's already, or he has already gone through the statistics, right? The next thing that we're really going to do, the main thing that needs to be coordinated in your morning meeting, there's a couple of things, but one of the really important things is that the sales get coordinated.
Okay.
Because a treatment coordinator can't just sell treatment, right? That treatment needs to actually be necessary and be explained by the doctor.
Right.
Right? So some coordination is necessary between the front and the back.
Like
right?
what, the doctor has to be in this room at 11:15 to explain this treatment plan to patient Jones.
That's exactly right. And the scheduler needs to, or whoever does the checkout, needs to know that that needs to occur. Because how often do we say, this patient's coming in hygiene with an outstanding treatment plan, the doctor gets stuck in something, a root canal, and front desk just checks that patient out and nobody's gone over that treatment plan with them.
Right. Or even worse, and this is something we were seeing a lot of last year
Yeah.
with newer clients,
Yeah.
is because they had talked to that patient about that 3 months ago,
Yes.
they just didn't mention it again,
Correct.
which was, really?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So everybody needs to be coordinated. So because you ordinarily, the financial aspect is one of the main reasons why people don't get the care that they need, why people don't get healthy.
Right.
Right. If everything was free, we'd have more healthy people. But because dentistry isn't cheap, that creates a barrier for people.
Sure.
Right. So, and it's the main barrier. Yes. People are still scared of the dentist, but not as much anymore as we used to. I mean, dentistry come a long way, and
It
it's
has.
essentially painless these days.
Yeah. It
right?
definitely a lot better than it was
Oh my God,
40,
yeah.
50 years ago.
Oh my God, right? So most people are totally fine with going to a dentist. Sometimes people need to be assured, and there's always going to be people who don't like needles, right? However, the number one barrier to people getting their dentistry is the financial aspect, right? And unfortunately, it needs to be addressed and figured out before a person can get healthy. So and we can't do production unless we sell the treatment first. We can't make a healthy patient unless we sell the treatment first. So it's very important that the office kind of is coordinated and almost conspires together as a team on how to get that patient healthy despite the problems that they may have financially. And there's so many financial options available today,
True.
right?
And I think also people get, like we were saying earlier, in the frame of mind of, well, we talked to Mrs. Smith 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And she said no.
Yes.
So we shouldn't talk to her on this trip or spend less effort or time or whatever.
Yeah, but that's not smart because people take time
Yeah. Well, I
to
mean,
get used to things.
and this is what's fascinating. I remember a new client looking at your lineup form for the first time.
Yes.
And they're asking, like, what do you put here?
Yes.
And you have to see this, folks, because she has the lineup form. It's like a daily report from the office manager, or for the office manager. And it has, when you're lining up the treatment that you're going to present that day, it's obviously treatment you've already diagnosed. So
Yes.
This is your patients of record.
Yes.
Because you have no idea what a new patient's walking
No,
in
it
with.
just says new patient on the lineup. You have no idea what
Yeah,
they're
you
going
don't
to
know.
need.
They could come in and they need a FMR or they need a filling or they need nothing.
Yeah, and by the way, a lineup is just a list of patients that we're going to present treatment to.
Right. So it's
Today
all-
that
all the-
lines up how to make the income quota for
Right,
the day.
so you've got a list of every patient with outstanding treatment.
Yes.
And then you're figuring out in the morning, okay, who's going to present that treatment plan.
Right.
And when.
Yeah.
Especially if you have multiple doctors. And that's what, because obviously if the doctor's mid a root canal, they're not going to be able to present a treatment plan.
No.
So you have to figure out another solution.
Right. And
Right.
and at the very minimum, if that exam can't happen and that patient has outstanding treatment, rescheduling that patient to come in for the exam.
I hate doing that. though.
I hate doing that
Maybe
too,
have
but
the
it's
doc see him
better
early in
than
the
waiting
procedure.
another 6 months and have that patient come in as an emergency next
I mean, I
month.
guess the doc could always walk in early, I guess, on that one, right?
Yeah, and sometimes people think that, and I hear this a lot, like the exam needs to be done at the end of the hygiene appointment, right? No, it can happen anywhere when the doctor has time.
Yeah, I mean, because you could just take your x-rays right off the bat.
Correct.
And then doc walks in and,
Yeah, takes a look, especially
Or
when
if they
there's...
see something they don't like, just give me a new PA of that tooth.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, going through the sales for today,
Mm-hmm.
also going through referrals for today.
So when you say going through referrals, explain how that might look or what you mean by that.
Well, most of the United States have people in their household, like living with them.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're looking at, here are the patients coming in today,
Yeah.
and you're going to look at, do they have any family members that come to our practice?
Sure.
Yeah.
To schedule for hygiene.
Sure.
But they also have a lot of family members. Actually, probably statistically,
Yeah.
1 in 4 patients. I have other members other members from the household, out of the household.
Sure.
Statistically, 3 out of 4 patients, I have no other members of the household.
So we're going to ask them if they have any friends or family that need to come in for an appointment.
Yes. Well, I'm going to ask them, who do you have living in your house with you
Got it.
that is currently not seeing a dentist?
Got it.
Right? Good. Can you schedule an appointment for them, or do we need to get them on the phone, or how do we do this?
Do you offer the new patient special for that?
We can, right? I can. I can, but whatever it takes.
Sure.
Now, in order to get a patient to play ball with you on that, to take responsibility for their family members and get them scheduled as well, right? To get their spouse scheduled or even get their spouse on the phone to get an appointment. You need somebody who has a little bit of a sense of humor, right? So you can't have people that are generally don't have a good outlook on life or maybe have like not the perkiest attitude.
So the staff member I have doing this is Chipper.
The staff member I have doing this is Chipper, and the patients that I am identifying in the morning meeting to do this with.
Okay, so we're
Are
not
either-
asking somebody who nobody wants to talk to.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Right. Then, and even if we ask 2 or 3 patients a day, and we identify who's going to ask those patients and get that done, and we schedule even 1 patient a day doing that, which is really so little. If you take a look at how many people, how many opportunities you have each day and how many potential people you can schedule every day, right there, we're bumping the new patients up by 20 new patients a month.
Got it.
Right? And those are your free new patients.
True. And your
Right.
best new patients, too.
They're
usually.
best new patients. So asking for reviews, whatever you're working on, I don't want... I don't want 5 people, if we're playing like a review game, I don't want 5 people to jump on a patient and trying to get that review.
So you would go, okay, you're asking This
this
patient
one,
for- okay,
the
good.
hygienist,
And
whatever.
What about social media, patient testimonials, things like that? We're completing a big
Absolutely.
treatment plan on, this patient today at 3:00.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do a video interview with them. Have them sign a
Exactly.
HIPAA release. We can put it up on the website. And okay, good.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you don't plan these things out
Mm-hmm.
and assign it to somebody to be done, if it just becomes this general, we should get this done, right? It just never happens.
Mm-hmm. I see.
So by assigning it to somebody and then for the office manager to properly follow up throughout the day, that's how you get things done.
All right, so we've lined up our day, so to speak.
Yes.
Not just our sales lineup, but how things are going to happen today.
All the things that must happen
Everything
today.
is going to happen, including referrals we're asking for, reviews we're asking for, patient testimonials we're filming for social media.
Mm-hmm.
At 12:30, we're doing our TikTok dance, whatever.
Right.
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 We've lined up all that stuff, right?
Right.
Our TikTok dance wearing mouse ears or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we've done all that. So then, how does that? So now we're into running the day now.
Right.
Okay. So what is that? What happens there?
So the first thing is the office manager has to make sure and has to keep an eye on hourly to make sure that the things that we said were going to happen, like those targets we laid out in the morning meeting, are actually happening.
Right. Because
So
things may take longer than expected. Things may not come through.
people forget,
Right.
right? And how often do you see, oh, I forgot?
Right.
Right? And so going up to the person, hey, don't forget, you're asking for a review here. Let me know how it goes.
Or you were
Right.
supposed to close this patient for X and patient didn't show.
Right.
So now what do you do?
Correct.
Yeah.
So just making real adjustments throughout the day to the schedule, making sure production is like you're running the day. It's an activity. You're not sitting behind your desk. That's not running anything. That's doing a job.
Yeah, good point.
Right.
Good point. Because what can happen, and we've seen it, how often do you see it happen? The patient's 20 minutes late, this patient didn't show, this patient didn't close.
Right.
An emergency came in.
Right.
Something went wrong. Yeah.
So they need to do that real life adjustment to keep up with whatever changes are occurring so that the day still gets pulled off correctly.
All right, so let's say we've run our day, we've pulled off our day.
Yeah.
How does the day end?
So at the end of the day, usually most people do their preparation for the end of the day the night before,
Okay, or for the next day, you mean?
for the next day.
Yeah.
Right? So making sure that all the stats are reported properly, right? Making sure your day sheet is accurate, it matches your deposit. So at the end of the day, you would just do your regular end of the day. Make sure all the notes are in the computer, making sure just everything, no patient left without an appointment.
So everybody's confirmed.
Everybody's confirmed. Well, there's actions that the office manager would do throughout the day.
Sure.
Right? Besides just running the
No,
the
I know. I'm just
production
looking at
schedule.
like that's the beginning, middle, end. We can get into the. I figured we get into the what's happening during the day a little bit more as well.
Okay.
But as far as ending the day, so we've wrapped up. Stats are turned in. I've reconciled the day sheet against our deposit because we want to make sure that all the money made it where it's supposed to, and nobody. Obviously, it's a quick way to detect embezzlement too. Right?
Correct.
And all the patients are actually confirmed.
Correct.
Right. And all those things have happened.
Correct.
So now, obviously, while I'm running the day, during the day, I have other duties.
Absolutely.
I have personnel duties or whatever. What duties might that be?
So the things I wrote down, the things that I think they should either do themselves or keep an eye on.
So things they're focusing on.
Yeah, they're just checking on it every day to make sure it's happening
I
correctly.
think you had like 6 or 7 of these.
Correct.
Yeah.
So one of the things that they would do is I can't do a lineup if the day is scheduled incorrectly.
Okay.
Right? So we can sit here and do a sales lineup and all that stuff, but if nobody is scheduled that has any potential sale connected to it, I'm not going to sell anything that day because I can't conjure sales.
Sure.
Right? So your schedule should be a balance between production and sales. That's
Okay.
an ideal schedule.
So I'm keeping an eye on that.
So I'm keeping an eye on that. And a system that I saw a client use that I really liked is any patient that had outstanding treatment, they turned a different color, regardless of whether that patient was scheduled in hygiene
Oh, in their
or
software.
in their software. And they used the color green for whatever reason.
Okay.
But it made it so simple for the office manager to look at the upcoming days to see how much green was in there. Because it told them immediately, oh, this day needs more consults, needs
I
more
see.
hygiene patients with outstanding treatment, needs something.
So if that block on the appointment book was green, that meant patient with outstanding treatment.
Yes.
Got it.
Potential sale.
Got it.
Is what it meant.
Okay.
Right?
Did they have, now, not to get too granular on this.
Yes.
But, I am like that.
No.
And again, obviously, and this is tough because some people tend to get stuck on this point. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to focus on the money,
Right.
right? But there's the patient care aspect is the most important thing. But also,
But you
I'm-
can't do patient care
No, I
if
get it.
they
I-
haven't paid for it.
I get it. What
Yeah.
I wanted to ask is if I'm looking at the schedule and I'm color coding anybody with outstanding treatment as green
Yeah.
on hygiene or wherever they are, what if all they have is 2 occlusal composites?
Yeah, that's totally fine. You see, the practice.
But I mean, that's not really a sale per se.
No, but I would expect more than one patient that's green on a
So
schedule.
what I'm saying is do you ever have it where there's like what's the word I'm looking for, like a floor? They used to have for credit cards something called a floor limit.
Yes.
Where you got an automatic approval code if it was below a certain amount of money, like $50.
You can do that if you
Like
want
so,
to.
if a patient has at least $1,000 in outstanding treatment, it's green.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if people do that or don't do that or.
I haven't seen that.
mentioned I was gonna be granular,
It's kind of you can do that if you want to. I think the philosophy you want to instill with your staff is that ultimately the reason that business exists, right? That dental practice is a business, and ultimately the reason that business exists is to make healthy patients.
Sure.
Your doctor's office, right? And you make healthy patients. If a patient comes in unhealthy, right, and walks out unhealthy, even if they're walking out healthier, right? Somewhere we failed
Got it.
that patient, right? It's not the patient. It's either we didn't spend enough time educating that patient, we weren't good enough at sales to really overcome their barriers, right? So I think it's very important that when we're going over sales, that that your team understands what those sales represent or what that money represents. We're not pushing money.
Right, we're pushing
Right.
care.
Right. And the more money we make, simply what that just means for helping more people. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, what other types of things would you have them looking for during the day?
Well, I would make sure the hygiene schedule's full.
Sure.
Every day, right? I would make sure that all the appointments are confirmed, right? And how often do I hear that people are having cancellation problems, and then I go go check into your cancellation problems, and you find out that somebody decided that leaving messages was confirming
Right.
a patient. So making sure that your confirmation policies are actually being observed. Financial oversight is part of it, right? They should monitor the accounts receivable. If they're on a prepayment system where the patient prepays for the treatment, somebody better be going through those credit balances to make sure that we're not selling stuff and we're not making sure that the patient's getting the treatment, because
Right.
that's the most important part. Making sure that insurances are followed up if you're taking insurances, right?
You know, an interesting thing. What percentage? Not to digress, but
Yeah.
well, I'm not really digressing. I'm going through your checklist here, right? The what percentage of newer clients coming in now are outsourcing insurance filing?
A lot.
Well, if you had to guess.
If I would say 40%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 40% of people outsource insurance filing.
Yes.
And one of the problems we identified with this was so whoever is filing your insurance files your insurance.
Yes.
Your insurance, you're expecting $800 from the insurance company. They paid $600.
Yeah.
So then you now have a $200 patient balance sitting on the account.
Correct.
And we're seeing a lot of newer clients come in now with just enormously huge accounts receivable.
Because nobody's collecting that patient.
Nobody's tracking this stuff
Right.
anymore.
Nobody's-
So if I don't have, let's say I've outsourced my stuff to a company to do this.
Which is fine. It's what I recommend.
Sure. But let's say I've done that. So whose job would it be for, I guess for lack of a better word, account integrity if I don't have a financial coordinator?
It would be the manager
Got
to
it,
go
so-
through those accounts.
So I'd have to
right?
look at what insurance was posted yesterday, where the patient balances are at,
Correct.
and make sure action is taken.
Correct. And making sure that the proper write-offs were done so we're not billing patients the incorrect amount and upsetting them.
Got it.
Right? You want to keep an eye on those accounts. I mean, it's one of the reasons why patients leave your practice because their accounts are incorrect.
Sure.
Right? And you certainly don't want to be like all focused on sales and taking money from people and not being just as focused on making sure those patients are getting through the treatment, which is more important than them paying.
Yeah, and all I can say, like you had me look at this stuff recently,
Yeah.
and it was because I've kind of been bringing up recently how some of the old systems that used to work kind of went away.
Yes.
And this is bad. Like we're seeing accounts receivable larger than we've seen in 20 years.
I saw an accounts receivable a few months ago of $1.4 million. I had never seen anything
What was
like
the
that.
average monthly collections for the
About
practice?
about 800, right? But it
month?
was 1 point. Yeah.
Okay,
but
that's
it was
pretty
insurance.
Oh, $1.4 million outstanding insurance.
$1.4 million in outstanding insurance, and most of it was over 90 days.
So a lot of that's going to be gone. They're never going to see it if they don't hustle.
Well, it's interesting because with electronic filing, if I can prove I filed it, they give you up to 7 years, I think.
Oh, and that's even if the insurance company, and I'm doing quotation fingers,
Lost it.
the documentation.
Correct,
Yeah.
but a lot of people using clearinghouses have documentation of it being filed and the attachments
We
having
never,
been there at
I'm
one
sorry,
point.
man, we never received it.
Right, and if you have a situation like this,
Can you
then it's
resubmit it, please?
yes.
Yes.
If you have a situation like that, it's worth contracting somebody to actually go after that money for you
Like
because
clean it up.
clean that stuff up for you, right? Because it's a waste of money not collecting it.
I agree.
Yeah, why would you write that off?
Well, you may as well not
right?
take
The
insurance.
problem is finding people that don't screw it up, honestly. So,
yeah.
whatever.
Okay.
Anyway,
So accounts receivable.
marketing, right? Following up on marketing leads. A lot of people have form leads that they're getting, and how often do we see it that nobody's following up on those form leads?
Oh, and I meant to mention this.
Yes.
I'm glad you just jogged my memory.
Yes.
If you do Google pay-per-click, which
Yes.
there's a really good chance you do, a lot of doctors do it now.
Yeah.
You most likely get most of your leads from Google pay-per-click come on the phone.
Yes.
Your patient's just going to call you.
Yeah.
Okay, now these calls are probably coming through some form of a dashboard, a software that you're using. It'll be some kind of dashboard, and they record your calls, and it shows you who called you when. Two things to look for that we find get continuously screwed up, other than just not listening to the calls.
Yeah.
But one, and I may have mentioned this in last week's episode, look for calls that were done when the practice was closed.
Yeah.
Because that patient may still be a viable prospect.
Yes.
Maybe they called another practice, maybe they didn't, right? Because they may not have left a message.
Yeah.
And two, some of those leads, because when you do Google pay-per-click, it's normally driven to a landing page.
Yes.
They have the option to call or fill out a form. A lot of those leads may be form leads.
Correct.
As you were just saying, kind of like implant funnel leads. You need to call those people.
Yeah, and they don't know. So
Right.
a lot of people do not check the missed calls log from the day before and return those phone calls regardless of whether they left a message. And a lot of people actually don't know about these form leads.
Yeah, I know. They just
And they're
have no
losing
idea.
so many new patients because of that. Right? So staying on top of that. Nobody likes calling it. Like staff prefers to take phone calls. They do not like to make phone calls.
Right.
On top of that, everybody has a different idea of how many phone calls is polite before we not calling the patient back again, right? That number is probably going to be shorter than yours, the person who's paying for it.
Well, it's
Right.
interesting. We have a client who has that number. In other words, if he gets an implant funnel lead, they will call that person
Yeah.
47 times
Yes.
before they decide we're not calling him every day anymore.
Correct.
So they'll call him, let's say they call him 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
Patient hasn't called back, they call him the 6th day.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say they call on the 7th day, they reach the patient says, hey, yeah, sorry, can you call me in a week?
Yeah.
Okay, they'll call him in the week. If the patient, or call me tomorrow. They call tomorrow, patient doesn't answer, they start calling him again every day.
Yeah.
Unless the patient says, hey, you know what, I can't do it right now, or I went to another practice.
Sure.
If they went to another practice, fine, they don't call them anymore. Or if they say, oh, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do it right now, life's changed, blah, 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 they put them on a once-a-month follow-up at that point. But they
Right.
never toss these things.
Yeah, and I know actually the client you're talking about,
Yeah.
and he has great new patients.
Yeah, he's super successful.
And very successful, right? To me, when I was working in a dental practice, I never had a problem calling patients over and over and over again to get them scheduled for hygiene or to follow up on those new patients. And you're going to have the occasional person that just had a bad day and is going to take it out on you, like, why do you keep calling me? And I used to just tell them, because we're your dental practices and I'm going to keep calling you until you either tell me we are no longer your dental practice or schedule your appointment.
And you call them once a day.
I called them once a day.
Yeah.
Or they call me, why do you keep calling me? And I said, well, why don't you answer your phone? I've been calling you for over a week.
But don't most people, what I found when I have to do that is most people will apologize.
Yes.
Saying, oh, I saw you call me like 5 times and I
Yes.
haven't called you back. I'm so
Yes.
sorry. Life's been crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, most people are because they're normal people. You'll get the occasional person who's going to be a jerk about it or they're
It's
having
going to
a
be
bad
one
day.
in 5
Yeah.
that's going to be testy about it.
that's true.
Right? And I can deal with that.
Sure.
I can deal with that.
Sure.
So,
All right, so we're monitoring the marketing.
monitoring the marketing, really following up on staff quotas, right? Whatever quotas they have, really validating them. If they're making their quotas, you want to keep it fun.
Sure.
You want to make sure that the harmony in the practice is maintained, right? So you do that, first of all, by really validating. When people need correction, correcting them properly, training them, and also by, if somebody really isn't making it, letting them go find a job where they can be successful.
Sure.
Right? So those are part of the responsibilities, and that keeps the harmony good. Keeping a sales log up to date. In dentistry, a lot of the sales.
So explain the sales log.
So
Because I know I was looking at your checklist and it says the sales log must be current. I'm like, what is
What-
we don't have it explained here. I know what a sales log is, but
All right, so a lot of sales in dentistry, when I'm presenting a case, there's going to be a good amount that are going to require follow-up. It doesn't mean the patient isn't going to do the treatment. It just requires follow-up. Maybe they get paid next week and want to talk to me
Sure.
next week, or maybe they're changing insurances,
they're
or
refinancing their house.
yeah, or they have to go talk to their spouse, or like these are legitimate things that people need to take care of. That doesn't mean they don't want to do it.
So is this like a book, a spreadsheet? What is this?
Whatever, whatever's easiest for
Whatever
you.
HIPAA compliant form I can use?
Yeah, some
Got it.
people use Excel spreadsheets. I've always just used a notebook because I just am old school and like thumbing through the pages. It's easier for me.
Sure.
Right? So the treatment coordinator or whoever does that job, the office manager, it doesn't really matter to me who it is, needs to log whoever presents the case, logs the case as having been presented, the date it was presented, what was presented, who presented it, and what happened.
Like, did it close, not close? We
And
closed
why,
this. Got it.
like follow up, blah, blah, blah.
So then I
right?
can go through it and pick up on cases that I need to get back in, represent. et
Correct,
cetera.
because a lot of your future treatment's going to come out of that sales log.
I can also look if there's an inordinate number of non-closes or things like that.
Well, if you keep a sales log and you keep your lineups, the list of what you laid out in the morning was going to be presented, should match what's in your sales log.
Got it.
Right? If you're not making the money you want to be making every day, it's going to be one of 3 things. One, either you're not putting enough sales on the schedule, and you know that because your lineup's bad.
Sure.
Right? 2, you're not presenting those cases, and I will show you because it's not in your sales log, right? And that's just people slipping through the cracks, so fix the organization. Or 3, those patients are not showing up and you have a cancellation problem.
Got it.
So if you keep lineups and sales logs, you as a manager know how do I fix these numbers?
Got it. So I'm keeping
Right?
an eye on that throughout the day.
Correct. Am I not closing? What's going on?
Got it.
If I'm presenting everything and I'm not and I'm lining up properly, then I'm not closing.
Got it.
Right. So next thing that they would do, like you want to make sure that there's lots of patient outreach going on. Bulk text messages are going out. You're monitoring the response of your marketing and your ROI. Right? You want to make sure that you're always looking for good staff. You don't want to start looking for good staff when you need good staff.
Oh, and just as an aside on this, speaking of outflow,
Yeah.
it's time to start thinking use it or lose it letters, guys. Even if you don't accept insurance, patients still have it.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
throw it out there.
Yeah, and address any staff issues immediately, right? If you see an issue with the staff, somebody's showing up late, right? Don't wait till they've showed up late 5 times before you do something about it. If you see a staff member that's ordinarily perky, now they don't look so good. Don't sit there and wonder in your mind what all the possible reasons, because you don't know. Just go talk to them. Like, you as the manager have a responsibility to create an environment that other people want to work in, and create an environment that patients want to get healthy in. So address issues as they come up immediately.
So those are kind of the main areas.
Yeah, those are just kind of the
Main areas.
bullet
And
points.
on this thing, because you have this article explains these things you just covered.
Yes.
not as in depth as you just did.
No.
But and then it's got a checklist for each of these points.
Yes.
So like, pre-morning duties, review days, schedule, note and communicate. So if I'm an office manager, I've got this checklist. So what do? I keep this on my desk and I just use this throughout the day to make sure I'm doing these things?
Absolutely.
Okay. I can kind of refer back to it too if I'm having just to make sure I'm kind of keeping myself on track.
Absolutely. And you're not always going to have a good day.
Right.
Right?
Keeps me honest, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
But you're not always going to have a good day, right? And you don't live or a good week. You don't live or die by one good day or one good week.
Right.
But if you're doing just these basic things, generally you're going to succeed.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, this was awesome.
Cool.
No, I love it. So we've got this checklist. If you guys want to download it, this Daily Office Manager duties and checklist, and it has the checklist at the end. I have that on the episode webpage. I have the morning production meeting handout
Great.
on the episode webpage. And as Sabri mentioned, the idea is to be trained. So if you want to get trained, what we recommend is try out the MGE Power Program. Obviously, that's where you don't try it out. That's quite an intensive program, but check out the MGE Power Program. That trains both the doctor as office managers and as executives. It's what our clients do. That's why they're so successful. Sabri, thank you so much for
You're
being
so
on this
welcome.
week. Super appreciated. And if you want to find out more about MGE, you can find us online at mgeonline.com. Or call us at 800-640-1140. Folks, and Sabri, thank you again. Folks, have a great week, and we will see you at the next episode.